Hey everyone, Sid Typhoon here from Sid's Home Tech. You know, a lot of people ask me where I got the name Sid Typhoon, and actually, to be honest, it was in a bar in Hong Kong, and it's kind of a long story, so remind me to tell you the whole story later. For now, I have an old G-Shock watch I got recently, and the movement's fine, it works great, but the crystal's scratched bad. Maybe you can see that there, hopefully. And the band, the bezel, it's horrible. I would never wear this white junk. And you'll notice that this particular kind of strap, the white is just a coating. It has sort of a light brown inside, and that's starting to show through. And that's typical of authentic G-Shock white straps. I don't recommend them anyway. You can see the wear on this guy. It's ugly. So we're going to transform this watch today. I'm going to put a sapphire crystal in it. I'm going to replace the bezel and the band with a black one, brand new Casio factory, the kind, and a new battery. So it's going to completely refurbish this watch, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it right now. Okay, so now let's talk about the tools and supplies we're going to need to do this. It's not too much, and probably well worth it. Here's the watch we're going to do. Give you a little better close-up on that. You can see the scratched crystal, and take a look at the back. It's a GA-100A. Not too bad on the back there. Not too bad. I've cleaned it up a little bit. Let's see. And strap buckle. This is a Thailand buckle, and this is I believe it's a Thailand watch as well. Yeah, cased in Thailand as well. Okay. That type of watch uses a CR2025 battery. Got a sapphire crystal here. I'll give you the exact dimensions on that a little later. And as you can see, it's a chunk of, it's slightly pinkish, which is a good thing. Beautiful sapphire. Get back to that as well. I've got a glass here. It's a clean place to put the movement when I get it out of the watch. I don't intend to do much with the movement while I have it out, and hopefully it won't need any cleaning. If I do have to clean the face or anything, I would recommend something like this, and you can just gently dab it on there. It'll take off any dirt without leaving a mark. Also, if you have a sapphire that has an anti-reflection coating on it, I would not recommend being aggressive in cleaning that coating. You might want to just try this to remove any dirt or dust from that. There you go. So I'm going to keep that handy. I really don't think I'll need that for this project. As my sapphire has no coating on it, I'll just use alcohol and a very clean cloth to clean it before I install it into the watch. So here's the new bezel, factory Casio, and the new band buckle, and this one is China. I can change that, but it's not bad. It's the same quality as anything else. Let's see, the original has a pretty much a little shinier finish, maybe. Real similar logos. I think I'll just keep the new one, that's fine. Everything's from China nowadays anyway, seems like. And it's good quality, of course. And then we're going to need a press to press out the crystal. I'll use this one right here. It's a pretty simple device. It has threaded ends here and here. And then I'll select the correct dies that'll allow me to do that without damaging the watch chapter ring or anything else. So I'll have to select those when I do it. I've got a toothbrush here for cleaning things up. I've got a watch band, spring removal tool, small screwdriver, some tweezers. I'm gonna pull guitar picks, which I'll use to help separate the case without damaging it, like I care about the case. A small little dust brush here I'll be using. Some clean gloves. I would highly recommend that when you're putting it back together, that you start with everything clean and assemble it without touching anything with your hands. So, here we go. I like this cheap screwdriver because it has exactly the right shape to match into these screws nicely. I have a selection of all kinds, but this one just seems to work the best. So I'm just gonna take those out, put quite a bit of pressure so I don't strip them at first. It's going into plastic, so it has a sort of a locking feel to it. Sort of interference threads when they put those in. Now, let's go ahead and take the bezel off. I like to start with a pick. This is a way to do it without really hurting anything. You just get that in there to get you started. Sort of work this around. The idea is you want to clear those buttons where you get too much pressure on it. There we go. It's going to come off now. Last one. Just kind of start working it around there. Buttons are kind of square on the bottom, so it kind of hangs up. It's stretched over it like that. This one's actually in really good shape. Usually when I get in here, it's really dirty. I don't think this one's seen the ocean too much. Okay. Now I'm going to, I would recommend if you're going to use any alcohol to use 70% when you're working with plastics. So I'll use this to clean this. So I've decided I'm going to clean the sapphire crystal first, and that way put it away clean and not potentially risk contaminating it with something else. So it might have some polishing agents still on this side and that side. You see one side has a sticker, that's going to go on the outside. And normally that's true as well with coated ones, and the coating will be on the other side, on the inside of the watch. So for this one I'm going to use 91% alcohol. It's strong. Just a little dab. I'll start there with the cleanest surface, and then I'll go to the other side. And this side I'm not too worried about. I'm trying to get a clean piece of the cloth every time I do this. Now I'm getting the edges. So always trying to use a piece of clean cloth. moving the cloth away every time. There we go. Not good. A little dust off. I still see a little bit of residue on this side. Yeah, that definitely had polishing agents still there, so make sure you clean these before you put them in. You'll see one of my other videos, you'll see that was a problem. Okay, that is beautiful. Absolutely perfect. And I'll pop that into a Ziploc. Okay. Just put that aside for later. Now I'm going to use the same cloth with 70% alcohol. And I'm just going to kind of liberal about that here. I just want to clean it up on the outside pretty good before I open it up. Try to scrub around the O-ring area so I don't get dirt in there when I open it. If it's really dirty, I would especially recommend doing that. Okay. That's looking good. Plenty clean enough. Okay. Now we'll just open up the back here. Take the movement out, get it out of here. Okay. Let's grab a hold of that. See if the screws are actually out. This one's not. There we go. Give that a quick wipe down with this. Not sure what that brown is in there. Never seen that before. Still got a little alcohol in here. Yeah, okay. Looking good. I'm just going to put this right here, and then I'm going to put the movement on top of that. So for the movement, I think we'll just hold it down here, try getting this plastic out like that. Put that aside. I got the wrong battery. I'll have to give a different battery for that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just gonna give it a little bit of that's safe. A little rubbish here. Okay, now what we got to do is press on the crystal, but not on the chapter ring. we'll hurt it if we do. So we just find the right size die that's going to not touch the shafter ring. I don't think that's quite right. There we go. That went inside there. It's now on the crystal. You might be able to see that. Now on this side, we want to touch only the case, and as close as possible to the crystal, but not on the crystal itself. So we'll go ahead and put that onto the press. And then we'll choose the other die that's going to go on the top here. We need a little relief. It needs to be big, but we don't want it to fit over too far so it doesn't have that relief. And I'm not sure that's going to be the best one there. That might be. The kit comes with a few more here. We'll try this one. That's pretty good there. I think that gives us kind of relief we need. I feel lots of room there. Pretty confident that's well clear of the crystal. This is another choice here. Oh, that's more safe. We'll use that one. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we're going to press the crystal out of the case. I'm out of room on the dies here, so I'm going to just get a little more room here. That's a lot of force it took, but there you go. You can see here what comes out is the crystal and then a little ring. So we're going to clean that up, put it back in there. Let's get this out of the way. And that's completely undamaged. Perfect. This will be fine here. So for this, here's the original, and you can always tell which one side was out. It has marks from the bezel and scratches. So I'll probably just get rid of that. It's almost impossible to polish up. And I'd rather replace it with a Sapphire. Okay. This looks fine. Nice and clean. This looks fine also. Nice and clean. Just want to get a few wipes in there just in case. Then I'm going to wipe it, just blow it off. So now we're going to sort of do the opposite. We need a die that's going to push down on the crystal. But not touch the case. As large as possible for that. Looks like a good candidate there. I'll put that here on top. And then for the bottom, we need something that's just going to support the case without hurting anything else. And that fits right in there perfectly, so we'll use that. And these little press kits are not expensive. They work great. I've seen them break before, but it takes a lot of force to break them. So the Sapphire is going to go in there, and there's no registration or anything. The only thing to be careful of is to make sure you got the sticker on the outside and that it's clean. So I just want to make sure it's clean, and it's not. And stuck. So I'm going to have to use this cloth again. And on these watches, the light shines across the crystal at night, and you'll see any dust on the crystal. So you have to be pretty careful about that. And first is this. You should be able to get it started by hand. You'll know it's got a good alignment then. I feel it going in there already. It's not super even, so hopefully that'll correct itself. Let's go ahead and give it a little test here. See it going down right here. Let's just turn it a little bit. It's not in yet. Yes, it is. I didn't hear it pop or anything. It just sort of slowly squeezed into place. So, yeah, that is looking good. Give it one more press for good measure. Okay, super tight in there. Now I'm just concerned about dust. It looks great. Okay, we're good. There we go. Now we'll put the movement back in. Up. Up. What can happen is it can hang up on the buttons. So you sometimes have to do a little bit of maneuvering. I've got it way crooked right now, obviously. It's not going to work. Okay, here it is. And then the buttons, sometimes you have to help it. Just push those in a little bit so they clear the actuators. Just make sure they're all clear. Okay. And what actually registers the movement is this plastic thing here. I don't want to do that yet until I get the battery changed. So I'll go ahead and work on that next. This battery, I forget what size it is. I have some though. It's a tricky one to get out. You're gonna need a tiny little screwdriver. Okay, so I've got the tiniest screwdriver I own, and it's sharpened a little bit crooked. So you've got to pry this little snap right here loose, and then this metal clip will pivot on this side. The idea is to loosen it on this side. I've found it to be difficult sometimes. So, there. That one was not too bad. And I think the idea here is just slip this one out. And I'll slip a new one in. It's a CR1220. CR1220. Good. Slip it in there. And just press down. It locks itself. Easy, easy. Now we'll put the back on. I like to make sure the O-rings have a little bit of silicone grease on there. I see this one is shiny and looking good, so I've cleaned it with my fingers basically. And even bare fingers is okay with this. It's not going to hurt anything. So the groove is clean. I see a slight residue of silicone. That's good. I'm just going to drop that on there. And the back. Again, verify that this is up. Everything's okay there. And one last thing before I close this up. As it says here, after battery replacement, contact AC with the minus using tweezers. So we just want to touch anywhere in this metal here with anywhere on the battery there. We can just use a pair of tweezers to bridge that. So I'm just going to go in here and get underneath the sticker and touch that, right that. Now it's done. Because I live in such a moist climate, just a couple miles from the ocean, I'm going to have to dry this out. So I'll go in there to another room and get a hairdryer and blow air in there until this thing is just warm and dry, and then seal it up quickly after that. Be right back. Okay, I got this dried out with a hairdryer. I had forgotten to put the plastic piece in, and when I put it in, I noticed that the movement wasn't registered properly and it wasn't down against the chapter ring all the way. And so a reminder is you have to probably individually push down on the movement while you push each spring out for each pusher, so they clear their little pusher knob. So anyway, lessons learned there. So now I can just seal this up. So I just want to have a quick look, make sure the O-ring's happy and everything here before I press down on it again. All good? I'm looking for a pinched O-ring in particular, or any kind of resistance to it wanting to sit where it needs to go. I can barely feel the O-ring itself as far as pressure on it. It's really tight tolerances. Perfect. And I'm going to look for anything inside the watch in particular. I see nothing. It looks great. Okay, here we go. Next, we'll put the band on. I'm going to reverse the procedure we started with. I'll go ahead and clean up a little bit of my tools here. So, buckle up. It's going to be like that. These new buckles, these new bands are pretty hard to use. They're a little tight in there, that's all. And the bezel, go with that. Right side up, buttons need to be oriented correctly. They try to spin all over the place. There we go. Okay, I'm getting close now. Not bad, a lot better than the junk white band at least. Okay, so we've got a few screws here. These little guys here. Start with those.